Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday. I hope everybody is doing well. So this is your astrological forecast for next week, and I'm bringing it up early because the upcoming lunation, new moon in Sagittarius, which is predominantly what I will be focusing on, is happening on Tuesday night, Wednesday early morning. So I'm bringing this video out first because the lunation is fairly early in the week, just like the last two were. So before I dive in, I just want to mention what is happening for the rest of the week. I'm not going to go deep into the aspects because I already talked about it in my previous astrological forecast. So if you wish to more know, you can always go back to my YouTube channel and check it out. However, all these aspects are going to be present and active during the upcoming lunation, so we're going to touch on them again. I'm making this video on Friday specifically because we had this beautiful two aspects taking place last night, which was the Sun trine to Chiron and Mercury trine to Jupiter. Now, this Mercury trine to Jupiter will take place 3 times. Now was the number 1 when Jupiter is retrograde, Mercury is direct. The next one is going to take place when Mercury is retrograde and Jupiter is retrograde. And the last one, which will take place in January, is when they are both direct. So there will be a lot of reevaluation with regards to Mercury, Jupiter, or how we identify reality and what are the stories that we get attached to based on what information we accumulated. But anyway, this is something which is for the new moon in Sagittarius conversation because it's all about stories, obviously, with the Sagittarius and Jupiterian theme. So tonight, Friday night, Saturday early morning, we'll have moon moving into the sign of Scorpio, which is where moon will be the entire weekend. And then on Saturday night, Sunday early morning, again, depending where you are in the world, we'll have the Venus opposition to Jupiter. And this is what's going to be active during the new moon in Sagittarius, and Jupiter is the ruler. So this is an aspect to pay attention to. And there are other breadcrumbs which I'm going to be mentioning that are very important with regards to this. So as I mentioned, Monday, the 11th, December 11th, we enter in the week with moon moving into the sign of Sagittarius, preparing for the new moon in Sagittarius. And also on the same day, we'll have Venus sextile to Mercury. Again, this aspect is fully active during the lunation. Tuesday, 12/12, we have a 12/12 portal, which is another energetical opening for us, opportunity for spiritual, energetical, emotional, all of the upgrades that are available to us. They stream in through much faster and much stronger than ever before because of where we are at evolutionary on our path. And it's no coincidence that we have a new moon in Sagittarius, the last moon of the last new moon, because we'll have still full moon in Cancer this month, but the last new moon, which is the seeding of the intention for the upcoming year, and it's on a 12/12 portal. I mean, seriously. I mean, yes, for some of us, Europe, Asia, Australia, New Zealand is going to be happening on December 13, but still, for some of us here, it's 11/11. Right now, as I'm saying this, is 11/11. For some of us here on this side of the Atlantic, it is still on the 12/12 portal. So very powerful energies. And even if it's on the 13th, it doesn't matter because 12/12 is when the portal opens. It's fully open for the 13th, December 13th, the next day. And this is super amazing because this new moon is so special. It's so special with regards to next year. And again, I'm going to talking about it. I already talked about it in my previous video, but I'm super excited about this new moon in Sagittarius. Super excited. So yeah, 12/12 portal on Tuesday, December 12th, together with the new moon in Sagittarius. Then on December 13th, which is Wednesday, we also have... let me make this bigger because I'm getting a bit blind. Mercury station retrograde. So for very, very few of us here on this side of the Atlantic, maybe I think if you are in the Pacific, PST, Pacific zone, and potentially Hawaii and stuff, it's still happening on the 12th, but for majority of us, even for EST and for me down here in Mexico, this is happening already on the 13th. Mercury stations retrograde in the sign of Capricorn on 8 degrees 29 minutes. Mercury will retrograde back into Sagittarius, I believe is December 23rd, right? And then it will retrograde back, it will retrograde into Sagittarius, then it will station direct on January 1st, and it will move back back. It will return back into Capricorn in January. I believe it's January 13th. I'll have to check my notes, but I'm pretty sure it's January 13th because I know it's happening at the same time as the new moon in Capricorn, which is on January 11th. So anyway, a little bit sidetracked there, but yes, on Wednesday, right after the new moon in Sagittarius, Mercury will station retrograde in Capricorn. And then on the same day, we'll have Moon moving into the sign of Capricorn. So of course, the first thing Moon is gonna do is going to conjunct Mercury literally a few hours later, like the next day. Okay. So then another interesting thing that's happening this week, which again, all these aspects are going to be present for this new moon, is the Sun trine to North Node, which is very positive. Then on the same night, we have Mars trine to Chiron. So this is Friday night, or for some of you, early Saturday morning. And then on Saturday night, Sunday morning, depending where you are in the world, Sun is going to make a square to Neptune. And again, all this is happening right on this new moon in Sagittarius. And then on Monday 18th, we'll have the second trine between Mercury and Jupiter. So, okay, so these are all the aspects. So I just wanted to name them because we're going to dive deep literally with regards to this new moon, because all of these aspects, every single one of them, apart from Mercury station in retrograde, because that's happening right after the new moon, few hours after, everything else is present for this new moon in Sagittarius. So for me here in Mexico, if I'm counting correctly, it's meant to be at 5:32 p.m. if I got my math right, because my ephemeris is set on Bulgarian time. So I have to count everything minus 8 hours. And it's happening on 20 degrees and 40 minutes of Sagittarius. Therefore, it's ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter, as we know, it's still retrograde in a sign of Taurus. And also, as we know, we are having Venus opposition to Jupiter on Sunday, this Sunday, which... yeah, it's right here on the new moon in Sagittarius. Jupiter, as the ruler of the new moon, is opposed by Venus, and Venus is the ruler of Jupiter. And Venus currently is in the sign of Scorpio, which she doesn't particularly enjoy, but it makes her deep, very deep into our subconscious. And of course, Jupiter being retrograde is reevaluating. Jupiter's been retrograde since, I believe, September 4th, beginning of September. And if I'm not mistaken, that's actually the day when they had trine, but don't hold me on that. I know there was an aspect going on. I think actually no, it probably was between Mercury and Jupiter. Either way, Jupiter stationed retrograde at the beginning of September, and Jupiter will remain retrograde until the last day of this year, December 30th or 31st, depending where you are in the world. And Jupiter is reevaluating, is making us reevaluate everything with regards to Taurian topic, which is our survival, which is our needs, our values, relationship to ourselves, which then is reflected back to us through our relationship with others. It's even our work or our finances, because all stems from your relationship towards yourself. So Venus, as the ruler of Jupiter being in Scorpio, is making us deep, very deep. Where do you feel disempowered? What is this story, right? Let's continue our storyline about stories that we are still attached to with regards to the past, because Pluto, the ruler of Venus, is in Capricorn and it's on its last degrees. It's just about to move into Aquarius next month, and this is his second it's been in Aquarius, now it's returned back into Capricorn, and then it will go back into Aquarius, and then it will return back into Capricorn for 2.5 months next year. So this is the last of it. This is the last of it, because as of November 2024, Pluto is not moving out of Aquarius. It's staying there for 20 years until 2043. So Venus being connected to Pluto at the moment, and Pluto is ruled by Saturn in Pisces, which is the dissolving, and Neptune is actually squaring. Neptune is squaring this new moon. So it's all about endings, And I mean, I know I sound like a broken record because it's all the same thing. I keep talking about the same thing because that's technically what's happening. Like I keep saying and repeating myself, with every next lunation is just a deeper layer of understanding where we at on this path. But the theme is not changing. The topic of the conversation is not changing. It's just helping us understand, okay, this is where we at with regards to what we're working on. And with this new moon in Sagittarius, new moon is a seeding of an intention, and cycle has ended and a new cycle is beginning. And we will see more clarity with regards to what is being seeded, which is up to you. You decide what is the story for you for next year. You are choosing your adventure for next year for this on this new moon. Literally, you see it in it. And the very interesting thing to mention now, jumping into the future, the full moon in Sagittarius, when we have much more clarity, because it will be the opposition between the sun and the moon, will be taking place on May 23rd, 2024, so right after the eclipse season. But what is very interesting about that date, there are many things happening, and let me name them for you. And they are all happening on 29 degrees. I mean, you can't make this up, which is a conclusion, is the culmination, is the endings. So on 23rd of May, Venus that is opposing Jupiter for this lunation, literally the exact opposition technically is happening 2 days before, is happening on Sunday, however, fully active. Venus is opposing Jupiter, the ruler of new moon, on a day of the new moon in Sagittarius. Now, December 12, 13, depending where you are in the world. On the full moon in Sagittarius, May 23rd, 2024, Venus will conjunct Jupiter. So this cycle is going to end right after Venus conjunct Jupiter on 29 degrees, culmination, end of the cycle, 29 degrees and 23 minutes. So that's 11 and 5, that's 16, 7. That's what I was talking about last time, the 7. 7 is Neptune, is dissolving in the sign of Taurus. So right after that, Venus will sextile Neptune. Venus, obviously this is in Taurus. Venus in Taurus will sextile Neptune. This is the first sextile, which is the waxing crescent moon, the first sliver, which is Taurian topic. This sextile will happen on 29 degrees 30 minutes. Again, 11 and 3, that's what's 14, that's 5, that's change, yeah? So, but it's all this 29. 29 is 11, it's not master number frequency, and then we have 5, then we have 3, and, all these different digits, and then when we put it together, we have some, single digit. However, it's all 29. 29 is the ending. Each sign in horoscope has 30 degrees. When you look at the zodiacal wheel, they all have 30 degrees. So 29 is what we call anaretic degrees. It's a karmic degrees. It's a very, very poignant degree, right? So having all this happening during the full moon in Sagittarius on 29 degrees, this means something big. And so we'll have Venus conjunct Jupiter. Subsequently, Venus will sextile Neptune endings. Subsequently, Venus will move into Gemini. Gemini is all about choice, right? So this will be full moon in Sagittarius, which means that what will follow will be new moon in Gemini, because everything is upside down now since the double new moon in Aries in spring this year. And then Jupiter will sextile Neptune all on the same day, 29 degrees 31 minutes. So there's 15, that's number 6. So there's number of balance. So anyway, so we have all these combinations that's going to become apparent to us in 6 months' time during the full moon in Sagittarius. And then 2 days later, Jupiter will move into Gemini, right? After his year stint in a sign of Taurus. So, I mean, this is, during the time Jupiter and Venus will conjunct, Venus is still the ruler of Jupiter, but the cycle will end, because then Venus will make a sextile to Neptune, Jupiter will make a sextile to Neptune. This is all ending of the cycle. Cycle is ending. So that's what I mean, that, with regards to this new moon, being now in a present moment, new moon in Sagittarius, you have the opportunity to completely change the rest of your life, or at least how the next year is going to be the beginning of the change, the beginning of the new direction of your life, the beginning of the new story that you wish to bring into manifestation and experience, because this is the intention, the seeding of the intention, and it's a Sagittarius. What is Sagittarius? Sagittarius is all about expansion, it's about freedom, it's about exploring the horizons. Even the sign of Sagittarius, you have the man with the arrow, I believe it's a half man, half animal, right? It's that I can't think of the mythological name for it right now. But you know what I mean. Either way, it's throwing the arrow into the distance because it's saying that there are all these horizons which are unexplored. Let's go and explore them, right? I mean, during this time, Pluto is in Aquarius, right? Like this full moon in Sagittarius in 6 months' time. So, there's going to be all these new horizons to explore. And, obviously, all the conjunction between personal planets, Venus, Mars, Mercury, next year will be happening in the sign of Aquarius to Pluto. All the conjunction between personal planets and Pluto. So this is very important. This is really, really important new moon. Like, I don't know how much to underline it. So anyway, so this is with regards to this Venus. So Venus is opposing Jupiter as the ruler. There is an illumination of something. What have we learned since Jupiter, was in the sign of Taurus, which was May, and also since Jupiter been retrograde since September? What have we been learning with regards to our needs, values? That was obviously Virgo season when Jupiter station retrograde, so Virgo was all about learning and adjusting. Now Venus is in Scorpio. Scorpio and Virgo sextile each other. So now this is supporting us. This is supporting us because we dig in really deep with Venus being in Scorpio. She's bringing a lot of emotions up to the surface. So this is the opposition. And as I already mentioned, Neptune is squaring this lunation. So with regards to moon, of course, it would be, it's a new moon. So with regards to moon, it's a first quarter square because it goes from sun. So first quarter square is crisis in action. What do we need to change? Obviously, again, what are we changing? We're changing the story. What are we dissolving? What are we letting go of? That which lost meaning, which no longer holds a meaning. Like I said in my last video, how many people are really happy? How many people can say that they live in life of purpose and meaning? I mean, there are some people, but I mean, majority of people would probably not say that. Majority of people would, say I'm struggling, or there is all this stuff happening and, it's very heavy, and it is because all those things are ending, and we don't all necessarily have a crystal ball which we look into and say, oh yeah, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be good, like I'm gonna be fine. I mean, yes, this is the evolutionary hope that eventually everything will work out and it's going to be better, and obviously there is a reason for everything, but not everybody has that sense of safety and security which comes from within. Jupiter in Taurus, how much do you believe in yourself? How much do you trust yourself? Or where the power that we hold within is being externalized. Venus, the ruler of the South Node, now in a new phase conjunction to the South Node. So let's carry on. So okay, so there is obviously the square between Sun and Neptune. The exact square, as I already named, is happening right after on I believe it's Friday. Let me check my calendar if I can see that far. It's actually Sunday. So Sunday the 17th. I have the 17th here, I just don't have the date, the day of the week. But for me, no difference because I'm lost in time already anyway. So Friday, I thought it was Saturday today, but it's actually only Friday. So anyway, so Venus square Neptune will happen exactly a few days after the new moon, and it will take place on 17th, which is apparently Sunday. So Venus opposition to Jupiter already took place by the time we have the new moon. Not today for me. For me, it's still going to happen in 2 days, but at the time of the new moon. And the square to Neptune is happening afterwards, after effect, which is even more potent because if we have the aspect coming into the exact degree, then there is a tension. The tension is building up because the exact hit didn't happen yet. So it's like walking up the hill. It's walking up the hill, and when you have the exact degree where there is a conjunction, especially conjunction, but all the other aspects as well, square, then you're not on the top yet. It's just building up towards it. So there might be, like I said, with Neptune being involved, there could be confusion, there could be sense of being lost and wanting to escape. And I mean, now with upcoming holidays, I know there is a lot of that, people getting lost in the shopping and getting all worried about things. And with this Neptune squaring the Sun and the Moon, which is the new moon, obviously conjunction. There is an opportunity for spiritual upgrade, but what does it tell? Because Neptune in the highest frequency is all about spirituality, about awakening, about us awakening to the truth of who you really are, which is the divine being having a human experience. So with this square, it's playing out all different ways. It's creating a pressure, it's creating a tension, because it's trying to wake us up to the understanding that you truly are and it's expression of the source. You are an extension of the source, and you are the creator of your experience, of your story, here on planet Earth. But with Jupiter being retrograde in opposition with Venus digging deep in Scorpio and pointing to Pluto, and Pluto like just hopping from one planet to another, obviously how they are connected by the rulership. It's saying that what is the old structure of reality, this old matrix that made us believe something different, that made us believe that that we are lucky and there's something wrong with us, this sense of disempowerment, this Jupiter, what is the truth about who you truly are? What did we buy into because of the conditioning of the, Capricorn, the patriarchal society that said somebody is on the top and somebody is the expert and everybody else should just listen to that person because, this expert knows the best. But now with Jupiter coming into conjunction with Uranus next year, I don't think so, because Uranus being in Taurus since 2018, it's really cracking the foundation. Yes, this mattered before, but is it still what matters? Is it still what makes you feel safe and helps you to survive? And and like I said, this Neptune making a square to this new moon in Sagittarius being the first quarter square is crisis in action. What do we need to change? What action do we need to take in order for this storyline that we are experiencing right here, right now, your story, your life, what small changes can be put into practice where it actually will start resembling the life that you would like to experience, whatever that means for you personally. So square is something that creates tension, and in traditional astrology, people always fear squares because, oh my God, but in evolutionary astrology, as I mentioned previously, squares are looked at as something positive because it means that you are being pushed towards evolution. So squares, they don't feel comfortable because they're meant to break us out of our comfort zone and push us towards something which eventually will change your life for better, even though it doesn't feel that way right now. But so that's what I mean with this square from Neptune. The resolution to anything to do with Neptune is obviously having to be grounded, grounding in your present moment, grounding in your body, spending time with nature. Neptune rules water, so spending time with water can be very healing. But it's also this connection to something something that is beyond our mental understanding, something deeper, something that is, and that's why Mercury is going to, station retrograde right after this moon, because it's going to go, okay, now we need to redefine this way we identify reality. It's going to go back into Sagittarius, just before Christmas, right after its conjunction with Sun, which is taking place on the 22nd of December. So Mercury is going to go reevaluate all that. There is a reason why Mercury is still direct for this new moon, which is saying that, okay, well, this is what we're thinking. We believe in that this is the way to see reality. But if we see it in this new intention for the future, and like, okay, again, what I keep saying, if you want to create a different life, a different reality, things have to change. We cannot create a different life for ourselves, have a different experience, and nothing will change. Like, yeah, I stay the same, do the same thing, hang out with the same people, watch the same stuff on the telly, and I expect my life to change. It's very unlikely to happen, okay? So, not for the better, okay, let's clarify here. It's very unlikely to change for the life you want. I want more money, I want to have wealthy friends, I want my friends to be, complaining less or whatever. It's not going to just happen on its own. We have to take an action, we need to do something. And the change always starts with you, with me, with all of us individually. So that's what I mean with this Neptune. There is an opportunity, there is an opportunity for spiritual upgrade, which is not going to happen on its own. We have to actually do something for it. And most and foremost, we have to trust. We have to trust that there is a deeper meaning. There is a deeper meaning behind everything. But not everything is acceptable, okay? You can be compassionate, have a love and forgiveness, but not everything is acceptable. And that takes you back to Taurus. How much do you value and love yourself? Because at the end of the day, you came here to have your own human experience. Yes, you came here to be a service and help humanity ascend and evolve and awaken, but not at the price of your own sacrifice, which is why Saturn and Neptune are both in Pisces, having a conjunction once they move into Aries. So they're going to be just on a, behind each other in Pisces over there, which is all about these endings, which is saying that this Pisces age, the way we were being conditioned, and obviously I don't want to go into religion here because that would trigger people probably very well. Like, we are not in Pisces age anymore. We are in Aquarius age, and the quality of Aquarius is very different from Pisces, which of course it's got its shadow polarity, like all this technocratic world and stuff like that, complete disconnection from the soul and from nature. But the other aspect of Aquarius is humanitarian, is like equality for all, win-win. This is what we birth in, the conscious relationships, the new kind of way of relating to one another. So anyway, this is going into all these different rabbit holes, but talking about Saturn and Neptune, obviously there is there still a sextile between Saturn and Mercury? Kind of getting out of it, but anyway, Saturn is still making a trine to Venus. Yeah, Saturn is still making a trine. They are still within a degree. Obviously, the exact trine already took place, but they are still within a degree. So whatever Venus is digging out and whatever information she's passing on between herself and Jupiter is the ruler of this new moon, it's supporting us in redefining, with Saturn in Pisces, like letting the old story go, letting the old structure go, which is not easy. It's not meant to be easy, because that's where the square come in. If it's easy, you don't even notice it's happening, and if you don't notice it's happening, how it can have a profound effect on your life, so that's why with this square from Neptune, opposition between Venus and Jupiter, is something we feel, something that we are tangibly experiencing. Also because this is involving personal and outer planets. Venus is very personal, as I said before. Jupiter is kind of like, outer planet already. And Saturn and, like Saturn is outer planet, Sun and Moon are luminaries. And then also Neptune. Neptune is the evolutionary planet, is one of the big bosses, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, the ones that make the biggest change to human collective because they move so slowly, but kick the biggest punch. So anyway, what else is going on there? So Mercury is coming closer to Pluto, because Mercury being Capricorn, as we know, it's going to retrograde into Sagittarius, so everything's going to be delayed, but they're already in the same degree, same sign, at the moment, until Mercury goes back into Sagittarius. So the conjunction between Mercury and Pluto is going to happen on the 5th of February 2024 in the sign of Aquarius. So that's why Mercury needs to go retrograde once more, after this lunation, because then he's got upcoming conjunction with Pluto. He'd be the first one after Sun. Sun is the first one to conjunct Pluto, but on 29 degrees of Capricorn and 59 minutes, let's not forget. But out of the other personal planet, Mercury will be the first one to conjunct Pluto. So that's why Mercury needs to have a retrograde in Capricorn and go back into Sagittarius to help us reevaluate the adventure we are having right now. Like, is it the adventure you want to experience next year? Because you just see the intention for what that's going to be, what that's going to look like. So anyway, that was just a south note, but the fact that Mercury is already within the same sign as Pluto is very telling, because Mercury at the time of this lunation is still direct in Capricorn, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And Saturn is still making a trine to Venus and all that other stuff. Saturn in a closing phase also with Neptune, So everything, like I said, everything is just jumping off each other. We can go all day and just look at how everybody is impacting everybody else, just like it is with human collective. We all impacting everybody else. Okay, so yeah, I have Saturn is actually making sextile to Jupiter still. Saturn is still making a sextile to Jupiter. Jupiter is coming closer, but it's not going to reach 1 degree, obviously. But, as of now, until Jupiter next year, goes further away from the point where it's now, because it's going to retrograde until the end of the year. So, for the upcoming about 2-3 lunations, Jupiter and Saturn will be still making a sextile to each other. And this is, again, the first crescent, the waxing crescent, the Taurus flavor sextile, which is helping us to gain information with regards to what you need what you need, what matters to you, and what are we letting go of, because Saturn is in Pisces, right? Okay, so obviously this sextile between Uranus and Neptune and Pluto, and trine between Pluto and Uranus, which creates that little roof. We had that kite present for lunations in the summer. Now the kite is no longer there, but there is still the roof, the roof of the kite, you know, the little triangle between the three. So what this means is exactly what I keep saying, which some people might not like. I don't know if I will like it going forward, you know. I mean, I'm okay right now, but who knows what's going to happen next month or next week. Everything that's taken place, it's happening, is divinely orchestrated. It's happening because it's supporting us on our evolutionary journey, because collectively, as a human collective, we got to the point where it's a dead end. You know, with Saturn in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, there is no further place to go. Also, Pluto being on the last degrees of Capricorn, you know, literally just like giving us this one extra year, like, okay, let me give these humans one extra year to get ready for this energy, because it's gonna hit us hard, you know, like, I mean, it's not gonna be just like, oh yeah, Pluto in Aquarius, life goes on. No way. So, I mean, we have one more retrograde, like I said, only for 6 weeks. Just for the eclipses, you know, Pluto is just gonna enjoy one more retrograde in Capricorn, you know, one more stint in Capricorn on 29 degrees for the eclipse show. Like, yeah, first eclipse in Pisces, full moon, hello. Pisces, again, end of the cycles, right? So anyway, all that said, without again going too far into rabbit holes, what else is going on? Like I said, Sun is going to trine North Node. So this is happening right after the new moon. So it's like obviously present for this lunation. So again, same thing, North Node. What is North Node? North Node is our evolutionary potential. Where are we heading as a collective? Where is North Node? In Aries. What is Aries? Aries is new beginning. It's also the leadership quality, which is why Aries and Aquarius sextile each other. They support each other, because it's saying, well, you becoming uniquely you becoming your own expression of source. This Aquarius, you being unique, you being special. Like, yeah, we are all unique in our own way, which makes us ordinary, because, you know, we're human and we flawed, but that's what makes you perfect, because you are a unique expression of the source. And that is between Aquarius and Aries in natural zodiac, there is a sextile, because that uniqueness gives you an opportunity to potentially be a leader in something, you know, to create something new, to go in a different direction. But if there is no one to follow, which Aquarius don't follow no one, you know, Aquarius people, they don't go and copy someone else. They go like, yeah, you know, I'm unique. This is my expression. That's why people like Aquarius, strong Aquarius people like myself, this is a full confession here, I hate when people copy me. I absolutely can't stand it, because, you know, Aquarius is unique expression. It's not someone that wants to copy someone else. It's someone that wants to be, you know, is in a position in Leo, which is like, again, about what is your purpose, what is your unique expression, what is the color that you use, you know, which of course somebody can use, you know, similar color or color combinations, but that which comes from you, it's you, it's your expression. And that is sextile in Aries. Leo and Aries trine each other, because there is this new direction available for all of us, all these new timelines, which is again what I keep repeating. There is not just going to be one experience for everyone on planet Earth going forward. Everybody's going to have their own experience based on the timeline they choose, based on the story they are seeding now at the new moon in Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is choose your own adventure, choose your next direction. What experience do you want to have in 2024, the year 8, the year of abundance, magnification, and manifestation, right? So anyway, you know, so we have this Sun trine to North Node. So North Node is trining this new moon in Sagittarius. I mean, if we need any more confirmation why this Sagittarius new moon is so important, here you got it. It's trine in North Node. I mean, North Node. It's where we heading. It's the evolutionary intention. And Mars, the ruler of North Node, is right. I mean, obviously, it's still conjuncting Sun. Is only 7 degrees behind. Mars is in a closing phase. So it's saying for this to start, something needs to end. We need to create a space. Like, again, you cannot stay loyal to some old pattern in your life if you don't enjoy that pattern and you want to create a new experience that is completely in conflict with that pattern, with that, for example, let's say you want to earn more money, but you are at work where, I don't know, you can say the boss bullies me and I don't get appreciated, and they just people pile things on my table, and I do all this work for everyone else, and nobody gives me more money because people just think I'm a doormat or something. So obviously, in these circumstances, this environment is very unlikely that you're gonna get appreciated, valued, you're gonna earn a lot of money, and people gonna look up to you differently, right? Something needs to change. Now, what needs to change? Well, first and foremost, what needs to change is the story we tell ourselves, which is, do I feel I deserve better? And if yes, why am I taking this? If I think I deserve better, then why am I still, taking this? Why am I allowing this to be taking place, right? And yeah, people can say, well, I have no choice. I need to feed 5 kids or something. But there's always a choice. It's just the choice is not always nice, and the choice always starts from us individually, which says that you have to learn to value yourself, stand up for yourself and say, this is what I'm willing to accept and this is what I'm not. And yeah, I mean, life always challenges us, but life challenges us because we are creative beings, and the seed of creativity, the purpose of your life is within you. So nobody can tell you what is the right solution, what is the right direction for you. Only you know, because you are the creator of your life and you are experiencing it and you know how it feels. Nobody else will know. Just like I said in my last video, 2 people having the same experience will describe it differently because everybody is living in their own little bubble, in their own reality, even though we are sharing it with one another and creating collective experience. But still, your experience is unique to you and it's influenced by all these other things. So, so this trine, obviously, in that same time is a sextile to South Node. So South Node is sextiling, this new moon from the sign of Libra, which is good because what are we leaving behind? Which obviously we cannot erase the past. The past made you who you are, but is this externalizing our power to other people, looking up to other people to determine what is our value, and then creating codependent relationships or imbalanced relational dynamics when there are winners and losers, but always somebody has to lose and sacrifice. And this is not the age of Aquarius approach. So, so this new moon in Sagittarius, it's supporting all that process. It's supporting us on going forward. These leadership qualities, this essence of you follow your own intuition, you follow your own instinct, and nobody can tell you if that's right for you or not, because only you know. And then in essence, like I said before, nothing is ever wasted in the universe, nothing is random, and there are no mistakes, because even something that you perceive as mistake, oh, I shouldn't have done that, taught you something. There is nothing ever wasted. Each time there is an opportunity for learning. Sagittarius, learning. What are we learning from this experience? I don't know why my hair doesn't want to stay straight. What are we learning from this experience, and what what story are we able to create based on this knowledge? Now that we have the knowledge that we didn't have before because of the experience that we just had, we can choose a different direction, but you wouldn't have been able to do that if you wouldn't have the understanding, the awareness. Yeah, the awareness is very important. So Mars, important to mention because, of course, on the same day, well, not on the same day, I'm talking porkies, the Mars trine to North Node. The Mars obviously is in a trine to North Node already, also during this moon, because they are 10 degrees apart, so we already class it in evolutionary astrology. We can already say that, okay, this is already a trine. Mars, as the ruler of the North Node, is trining the North Node. The exact trine is going to take place on Christmas Day, on December. Am I talking right? No, this is not the Christmas Day. The Christmas Day is something else. It's on the... No, it is. Yes, sorry. I have too many notes. I'm like, what am I looking at? Yeah, Mars trine to North Node is happening on Christmas Day, on December 25th. Now, what got me confused is the Mars North Node conjunction. So this is very important thing to bring into the mix, on all this we're talking about, because obviously Mars making a trine to North Node is a supportive aspect. Mars is the ruler of the North Node. Mars at the moment is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius, where are we going? We're going to explore new horizons. We are creating a new storylines. We're creating new adventures, a new experience for the soul. So the soul feels excited, because this is the thing we need to understand. What our soul wants and what our ego mind wants can be completely different things. So just because I think, oh, I want this, I don't know, I want new pairs of shoes, which is actually not what I want. I don't care about shoes anymore. But anyway, let's say I want something, right? Or no, I might say, oh, I want a boyfriend. Yeah, like this kind of boyfriend, whatever. So that's what my ego will say. This is what I want. Yeah, I want him to be like this and this and this and this. And then the soul actually says, nah, actually, this is not what we need, because we need something else to grow. So we need to attract, something that will help us grow. So my ego would say, no, this is not what I want. I want this, but the soul knows better, because it's your higher self. The soul knows what you need in order to grow and, to have the experience that you came here to have on a soul level. We came here to learn something. We didn't just come here to drink mojitos on a beach and party, which is part of it. It's part of it, but that's not, and I mean, yeah, maybe there are souls that that's all they came here to experience, even though living at this time and age during this massive ascension that we're going through, I don't know. But maybe there are people like that. So anyway, so again, what I'm trying to explain here with this Mars trine to North Node and the Mars North Node conjunction, which will take place in May, right before the full moon in Sagittarius, and this is the funny part of it, all these things are happening just before or around or a day of a full moon in Sagittarius, which is when we have more clarity. So what you think you want and what your soul wants might not be the same thing. So that's why with this Sagittarius, these stories that we tell ourselves and these new horizons that we want to go and explore, you might think, oh no, for sure I don't want that. Why would I want that? That feels uncomfortable. That feels scary. I don't really like the sound of it. But what if that's what your soul wants, right? So with this Sagittarius, it's saying, well, there are all these new horizons we came here to explore, even all these terrible experiences that we are having in life, which is like, why would I choose that? Of course I didn't choose that. Nobody in a healthy mind would choose that, but well, your soul did, because otherwise you wouldn't be having that experience. This is where we have to take responsibility, Saturn, right? Because everything that is in your life, you attracted and created, and yeah, on certain level, the soul wants you to have that experience, even though it might not make no sense at all to our ego and our human experience, our human conditioning, our human perception of reality. So this is what I'm trying to say. With this new moon in Sagittarius, that which is being seeded might not necessarily mean that, oh yeah, I'm all excited, even though it could, like obviously, preferably you want to choose something that makes you feel excited, but not every single experience we're going to attract is going to be exciting or nice or, feel good, because if everything was always easy and good and nice, how would we grow from that, right? So with this Sagittarius, it's like, what new horizons we want to experience, And for human collective, it's obviously including AI. On the whole collective level, what new horizons we want to experience to grow and evolve? Well, for whatever reasons, it includes AI, because this is the experience that, we didn't have, especially in this shape and form before. So the soul is excited. The soul is like, oh, there is a new experience coming. And the human ego, the human mind is like petrified, like, oh my God, this doesn't sound right. This sounds awful, because many of us obviously have the soul memory that, oh yeah, I experienced something like that before. It didn't work out very well for us. But now the soul is like, okay, I'm excited because I will have the opportunity to make a new choice under old circumstances. Also with with its Mars being a closing phase conjunction to Sun and Moon, new Moon in Sagittarius. Something is ending, some perceptions are ending, new perceptions are coming through, streaming through. Now, again, I'm not saying what is my opinion or what I think is right or wrong, or is it right or wrong. I'm just saying that what the soul wants and what the ego mind wants, aka us having this human experience, the Cancer, this is who I am, all my identities and labels, could be two completely different things. So don't get mistaken. It doesn't mean that which you are attracting into your life is always going to be easy and nice and fluffy, because the soul wants to grow and have an experience. And on a soul level, it doesn't have a polarity. The polarity, it's three-dimensional. When we are up there somewhere in a 12th dimension as a spirit, when we pass to the other side, we don't look at it and say, oh yeah, this is terrible. I don't want that. This sucks. There's no such a thing. It's just like, ooh, this is an experience, right? So this is where we have to start looking at things from a little bit different lens, which is Sagittarius. The higher perspective, the deeper knowledge. Like all this stuff. So anyway, so Mars going to trine is already trine in North Node during the new moon in Sagittarius. Again, this is positive. Mars is the ruler. Mars is in Sagittarius. It's whatever is happening is helping us to grow and expand, even though life is kind of not looking that way right now, let's face it. And the exact conjunction between Mars and North Node, once again, just to repeat, it's happening on May 19th, which is 4 days before the full moon in Sagittarius. So, I mean, you can't make this up, seriously. And then one more thing that's happening, Venus, already, during this lunation, it's coming into the opposition with Uranus. I mean, 10 degrees, so we can already count it. I mean, she's still 10 degrees away because Uranus is on 19 degrees, 55 minutes. However, we still count it. We're going to count it. So Venus, apart from the fact that she's making an opposition to Jupiter, which had taken place 2 days before the new moon, she's also making an opposition, starting to make an opposition, starting to come into the opposition, exact opposition, which again, the build up, is the walking up the hill, coming into the exact degree, So she is doing that with regards to Uranus. Uranus is retrograde. It's going to remain retrograde until January 27th, I believe. So this exact opposition is going to take place on December 21st. And now guess when the conjunction between Venus and Uranus is going to take place? Well, it's going to take place on May 18th. Just before Mars makes the conjunction to North Node and just before the full moon in Sagittarius. That's what I mean. This which is seeded at this time, Venus opposition with Uranus, what does it mean? It means that we are getting more illumination, more understanding with regards to what we're breaking free from, what is limiting, what is no longer in alignment. Again, Uranus is not a personal planet. It's not going to go and stroke your head and say, oh, don't worry, we're going to make it nice. It's going to be all nice and easy, and let's have a cocoa and watch the show. No, unfortunately, this impersonal outer planet, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, they are like, okay, evolution requires it. We're moving forward. If it includes AI or something else, something shocking and disruptive, then unfortunately, that's what needs to take place. So looking, and again, it's not about like me being a cold-blooded whatever and like, oh yeah, well, how can you even say that? And I'm like, I'm just trying to translate the energies, and this is a personal and impersonal planet. And this is an opposition which will bring things up to the surface. Venus is in the same place, more or less, that Mars was, when we had the Mars-Uranus opposition, and that brought a lot of stuff up from the subconscious to the conscious mind, which is not easy because Scorpio is Pluto. Scorpio is all about what makes you feel disempowered. The only way to self-empowerment and to go through the mud, go through the dirt. That's why Pluto represents the metamorphosis. It represents the phoenix rising, but it first has to burn down to ashes. The caterpillar has to completely dissolve into nothing, right? Caterpillar doesn't just turn into butterfly, just like it is a magic, but it doesn't happen like that. There is a process of dissolving of that which came before. That is not existing after that. It's not like caterpillar is butterfly is a caterpillar with wings. It's a different thing, it's a very different thing. So that's why with this Venus opposition to Uranus, which is already coming, into the degree, but becoming exact on December 21st and closing, the cycle is closing just before the full moon in Sagittarius in May. There are a lot of things happening in springtime. It's crazy. And that's obviously just before Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, moves into Gemini. What is Gemini? Gemini is choice, is this multidimensionality of choices, multidimensional, like looking at the same thing but identifying in a different way, and that creates the story. And right after full moon in Sagittarius in May, we'll have a new moon in Gemini, right? In June. That will be the next new moon after that. So that's what I mean. We just had a full moon in Gemini, which brought up a lot of things because it was an illumination. It obviously helped us to understand the Saturn retrograde, right? The Saturn retrograde period, because it, was happening simultaneously. It started at the same time as the new moon in Gemini. Gemini, the choice, how we identify reality. And we just had full moon in Gemini on the 27th of November. Now we have in a new moon in Sagittarius, a new story is being birthed. And then right after full moon in Sagittarius, we have a new moon in Gemini, so it's like, and all these things, all these conjunction to North Node, Mars, and Venus conjunction to Uranus, and all these kind of things, which now are being either oppositions or trines, or all these aspects which are somewhere there in a cycle. It's not a conjunction. If it's not a conjunction, it's somewhere there in a cycle. It's either before the middle point or after the middle point. So either we have a full understanding of what it's about or not. And then when it's a conjunction, cycle ends, new cycle begins. So with regards to Venus making an opposition to Uranus, ruled by Venus. Uranus is ruled by Venus until Uranus moves into Gemini, right? When it will be ruled by Mercury. And Mercury is the first personal planet having a conjunction with Pluto in February. So anyway, so this is trying to help us understand, trying to help us see, because opposition is the full moon, is the see. How do we see that which now is no longer supportive? It's no longer supportive. It's actually not allowing us to evolve any further, but it's an impersonal planet. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Evolution, I mean, I don't know how a caterpillar feels when she's there in that cocoon dissolving. I don't know how easy it is for her. I know it's not easy for that butterfly to come out of that cocoon, but that's where the resilience is being learned, this inner strength, inner power. And this is what's taking place right now for the humanity. We are creating resiliency. We're creating this inner strength, this attunement with ourselves. There is no coincidence that this new moon is squared by Neptune. There's no coincidence, because what is this about? It's about ascension. It's about awakening. It's about reconnection to yourself, reconnection to what really matters. What really matters. Taurus, we just had North Node in Taurus, until July. So what really matters? Why are we even here? Why are we in here? Why did we even come here, to planet Earth? What's the whole point? All this suffering. What's the point? Is it even worth it? Right? But like I said, when you're in a spirit form, everything is a theory. You don't have the sensory experience to actually understand what these things feel like. And even feeling grief or mourning or pain, it's a feeling, it's an experience, it's learning. It's not nice, it's not comfortable, but usually the biggest changes in people's life, the most transformative shifts that leads to something beautiful happen in that muck, in that grief, in that pain, in that loss, just like this lotus flower, right? It grows from shit. So, I mean, that's literally where we're at right now as a human collective. That's where we're at. We are in that shit, right? But there is an opportunity for something beautiful to grow out of it, which, yes, we look at the state of the world and say she's delusional. How can anything good come out of that? But when we see the full distraction of that which lost meaning, which is like the world cannot go on like this anymore. I mean, let's be frank, right? So something needs to change, right? And in order for us to know what we don't want, or to know what we want, we are experiencing what we don't want. But with this new moon in Sagittarius, it's giving us the opportunity to see that intention for what it is that you do want, especially with this opposition, Venus to Jupiter, Venus to Uranus, trine from Mars to the North Node, trine from from this Sun to North Node, the lunation, the new moon is making a trine to North Node, sextile to South Node, So, I mean, all these things are supporting us on our evolutionary path, pointing towards North Node. North Node is in Aries, new beginnings, saying it can be different. It can be different, it absolutely can. But in order to create something new, we need to understand what got us here, what went wrong, which now we have the opportunity to learn from. Like, okay, I don't want this again, so how can I make a different choice under all circumstances so I don't create the same situation? So that's what I mean. This new moon is so deep, it's so profound, it's so very important. And oh yeah, I have here that obviously Mars is also making a square to Neptune, and this is the last quarter square. What are we dissolving? Neptune with regards to Sun, the lunation is a new quarter square. Is the crisis in action, but Mars and Neptune is the last quarter square. What are we letting go of? What are we transmuting? What are we just about to free ourselves from? Which is the old story. And it's also these lessons. How long? How many times do we need to keep repeating the same lessons until we pass? So when we look at it from this perspective, everything that's going on in the world, it's an opportunity to pass this lesson. Okay, this is not good. This is not good. I don't want to experience this anymore. Of course, everybody has their own situations in their own microcosm, their own personal life, but you don't have to. You don't have to re-experience it again if you learn whatever your soul wants you to learn from that experience. And the path forward is through Aries, new beginnings. You have to trust yourself. Maybe there is no one else to copy. Maybe you are the pioneer in your family, just like are so many of us light workers, like me, for example. There is no one in my family like me. There is no one that I can look up to and say, like, hey, tell me how to do this. How to be self-empowered and have healthy relationships and, be abundant and transmute my relationship towards money and lack consciousness. There is no one. So, I mean, it could be you. Maybe it's you in your family that you have to be the one. You are the pioneer, but it all has to start from someone, right? That suffering didn't start with you, but you can create something new. So this is what this new moon in Sagittarius, in my interpretation, which I'm not saying this is a universal truth or is what you will hear elsewhere, this is what it represents, is this unlimited potential for change. And by May, when all this conjunction between Pluto and planets will take place, not all of them, but the personal planets, like Mercury, Venus, Mars, they will all conjunct Pluto in spring. I mean, actually still in a Pisces season in February, and Sun just before. So yeah, the cycles are ending and new cycles have the opportunity to begin, but we need to take an action. Need to take an action or switch something with regards to how we perceive reality. And that's what Jupiter Sagittarius are all about. What is the lens through which you perceive the reality? What is the story that is being created based on that lens? And why do we need to keep repeating the same lessons? We can just learn from them and move on and say, okay, I have a memory of this. I know how that worked out. So let's try something different and be brave to try something that nobody else tried before. Because you don't know where that's going to lead, and that's the new adventure. That's what the soul is excited about. Ooh, new adventure. Let's try to make a different choice and see what new horizons we can explore with that. Because at the end of the day, the lesson of Pluto and Scorpio, and us Pluto Scorpios understand that, is nothing lasts forever. Nothing is permanent. Everything at some point will end. Even the story that is being birthed now will at some point end. So why not to choose a good one and enjoy it, right? So anyway, guys, super long video. So I'm gonna end it at this. I hope that there's been some value in this to help you navigate through this. Of course, it's a new moon, so set your intentions, be conscious, be aware and mindful, because this is a very potent new moon happening on 12/12 portal, no kidding. And yeah, this is the gateway for 2024. This is the last lunation of 2023. We are the in-between time. So yeah, choose wisely, right? Choose wisely, because whatever you're choosing is going to manifest. So anyway, guys, I leave it at that. Much love to everyone. If you wish to connect, you can find me on social media and on my website. Always the links are in the bio, so check it out if you have the desire. And I wish you all a beautiful, fruitful seeding of intentions for the new moon in Sagittarius, and I'll speak to you again next time. Much love, everyone. Bye for now.